What's something your teacher said to you that changed your life? When Mr. Hadley looked me in the eye and said, "You're not broken, you were just handed a heavier load," I didn't believe him. I thought he was just trying to get through to the weird girl who never talked. I wasn't mute. I just didn't see the point. I was the kid who always had bruises she couldn't explain, clothes that didn't fit quite right, and a quietness that made people uncomfortable. Home was a place where silence kept you alive and tears made things worse. So school became my escape, until it wasn't. I got transferred to Hadley's class after an incident with my last teacher. He found my poetry journal, read it aloud to the class like it was open mic night, called it dark and disturbing, and told the counselor he thought I was a danger to myself. Nobody asked why I wrote those poems, just that I stopped. Mr. Hadley was different from the start. He didn't make us raise hands. He'd play music softly during writing assignments. He had this weird rule that we couldn't use red ink, said it made words look like wounds. I spent the first month barely speaking. Then one day, he pulled me aside after class and said, "Your metaphors hurt like real things. That's rare. Keep writing." I didn't know what to say. Nobody had called my words anything but scary before. But I kept writing, and I kept noticing things, like how he'd stand between the classroom door and the hallway when loud voices passed, how he never called on the kids who flinched too easily, how he gave extra snacks without making it feel like charity. One day, he gave us an assignment. Write about the one thing you wish someone had told you when you were younger. I didn't write about a thing. I wrote about my mom, about how she told me crying was manipulative, about how she used my fear like a leash, about how my body never felt like mine growing up, about how my brother ran away at 15 and never came back, and no one talked about him again. I turned it in, didn't even reread it. I thought maybe I wanted to get kicked out of this school too. But the next day, Mr. Hadley didn't look at me like I was broken. He didn't call my mom. He didn't send me to the counselor. He just put a sticky note on my desk that said, "You carry your story like armor. That's not weakness." After that, things changed. He started handing me books after class. All stories with girls like me. Some made it out, some didn't. But they all had names, voices, choices. He let me skip reading aloud, let me write instead of speak. And when other teachers called me difficult or emotionally volatile, he'd just shake his head and say, "She's surviving. Let her be." Then came the day CPS showed up at school. I didn't tell anyone anything, but someone must have. My mom always said it'd be worse if I talked, and it was. The investigation got dropped. I came back to school with a busted lip and a story about a bike. I didn't expect anyone to care. But the next morning, Mr. Hadley called roll like normal, then said, "We're doing blackout poetry today." He handed me a newspaper, but inside it was a blank notebook. On the first page, he'd written, "You deserve to write your own story. You don't have to use their words anymore." That was the moment I knew. He saw me. Not the weird quiet kid, not the broken one, just someone holding too much for too long. Years later, I'm safe. I got out. I teach now. And when my students bring me their weird poems, their messy stories, their scribbled drawings of things that don't quite make sense, I don't flinch. I just say what Mr. Hadley said to me. "You're not broken. You were just handed a heavier load."